Now I'm constantly getting weird comments, but sometimes you get good ones like these. Who has time to sit and rub a knife on an expensive stone? If you do, you need a life. Use, use a bench grinder. When the blade is done, buy a new knife. And knives should cost under $50, not $800 plus. This obsession with knives is a sickness, not a hobby. Get a life. And because I get comments like these all the time saying that freehand sharpening is a slow, arduous process that nobody really wants to do, I wanted to show you just how quick you can actually sharpen a knife freehand in real time. Now, the knife I'm sharpening today is going to be the Big Banter from We Knives. It is in 20 CV and it has been dulled naturally because I'm currently working on a review on this knife and I cut a bunch of stuff yesterday and it needs to be sharpened. Okay, starting from nothing, here we go. Nothing on the table. We've just come into the workshop, sat down. We need to sharpen our knife. Let's go. And we're off. Starting on a coarse 325 grit, all I'm doing here is removing steel, establishing the new bevel. I'll flip the knife over after a handful of passes and do about the same number on the opposite side. I'm intuitively sharpening here and I can feel when I've apexed on the stone. And once I feel like I'm apexed, I will just check to see if I formed the burr with my fingers, which I have formed. I'll then go back to the stone and with some alternating passes, work the burr back and forth, minimizing it as much as possible. And then once again, checking with the fingers to see if we still have anything hanging off of that apex. Once I'm convinced that we've minimized the burr as much as possible on the stone, we can then move on to what I have here is a 6 micron strop. And the strop is just going to further minimize and reduce a burr if we still have one on the apex, as well as clean up any stragglers or anything else that we may have going on the apex. That strop's just going to help smooth everything out and clean it up. And that's it, we're done. We are back to paper slicing sharp. I mean, the vast majority of people are going to consider this sharp, especially those who were maybe previously sharpening with a bench grinder. Now let me show you how quickly we can refine the edge. I mean, our knife is already sharp and this is the state it should be before we move on to a finer grit. Your knife should be sharp before you go to the finer grits. Now a lot of people think that the finer grits is what takes the time. It doesn't. All we're doing at this point is refining the scratch pattern that we already have on the knife. We don't have to remove a ton of material. We're just removing the 325 grit scratches and replacing them with the 1000 grit or 1200 grit scratches, and so on and so forth, all the way through our grit progression. So let's go. Now I will say you do not have to strop between grits. You strop one time at the very end. I just did that for demonstration purposes. 30 seconds. We're about done. We're just making sure that we're minimizing the burr as much as possible. All right. I mean, I'm going to call that good. We're really done at about 30 seconds. We could have taken it to the strop, which we'll do now. Now, since we're done our fine grit scratch pattern, we will stropper back and forth, alternating passes. Hopefully, we remove as much burr as possible. That's it. We're done. I mean, I think we are done at about a minute or so. I don't really know. It doesn't matter. It's super quick. It only takes, I think I probably did 10 or 15 passes on each side to refine the scratch pattern, and even that was probably too much. And here's the final edge. Looks pretty daggone good to me. Maybe it could use a slight bit more stropping here and there, but this thing is actually very sharp for the minimal amount of sharpening and stropping that we did. All right, so I don't think this is gonna be hair whittling sharp, but we'll see. It actually is. Check that out. Maybe it could be better. It could be a little better. Hair whittling. Ooh, I want to cut myself. Hair whittling sharp. Look at this. It's still just pulling tiny pieces off. That's actually really impressive. Really impressive heat treatment off of this We Knives Big Banter. So it just dawned on me that I'm sitting here timing myself sharpening a knife. Maybe I do have a problem. You guys just watched it. Yep, definitely got a problem.